The summer sun hung low over the quiet training yard in Los Angeles, casting long shadows across the wooden floor. Word had spread quickly through martial arts circles that two legends were in the same place at the same time. On one side stood the lightning-fast martial artist whose movements seemed to bend time itself. On the other stood the heavyweight boxing champion known for his speed, charisma, and unstoppable confidence. The martial artist was Bruce Lee. The boxer was Muhammad Ali. Neither had planned the meeting as a public spectacle. There were no reporters, no cameras flashing. Just a small group of students, trainers, and curious friends who happened to witness what would later become one of the most talked about what-if moments in combat sports history. Bruce Lee stood barefoot on the polished floor, wearing simple black training pants and a loose shirt. His body looked relaxed, but every muscle seemed ready to move at any moment. His students watched quietly, knowing how fast their teacher could explode into action. Then the door opened. Muhammad Ali stepped inside with the confident swagger the world knew so well. Tall, powerful, and smiling, he carried the aura of a man who had defeated giants in the ring. "Well, look who it is," Ali said with a grin, glancing around the room before his eyes landed on Bruce Lee. Bruce smiled politely. "Good to meet you, champ." The two men shook hands. For a moment, the room felt strangely calm, as if everyone present understood they were witnessing something rare. Ali looked around at the wooden dummies, punching bags, and training pads hanging from the walls. "So this is where the magic happens," he joked. Bruce chuckled. "Something like that." Ali had always been curious about martial arts. He admired Bruce Lee's speed and discipline, though boxing was his kingdom. To him, fighting meant gloves, footwork, and 12 rounds under bright lights. Still, he couldn't resist a little friendly challenge. Ali bounced lightly on his feet, throwing a few playful shadow boxing punches into the air. "People say you're the fastest man alive," Ali said, raising an eyebrow. Bruce folded his arms with a calm smile. "Some people say that about you too." The students exchanged nervous glances. They could feel the energy changing. Ali laughed loudly. "All right then," he said. "Let's see something." Bruce tilted his head slightly. "What do you have in mind?" Ali stepped forward, lifting his chin slightly with that famous confidence. "Hit me." The room fell silent. Some of Bruce's students shifted uncomfortably. Muhammad Ali was not just any fighter. He was the heavyweight champion of the world, a man who had gone toe-to-toe with monsters in the boxing ring. Bruce Lee studied Ali's posture carefully. Ali stood relaxed but alert, hands ready to move if needed. Bruce raised his hand slowly. "You're sure?" he asked. Ali grinned. "Come on, man. I've taken punches from the biggest fighters on earth." Bruce nodded. Then something happened that most people in the room barely saw. Bruce stepped forward. His arm moved like a flash of lightning. A sharp tap landed against Ali's chest. The sound echoed through the quiet room. Ali blinked. He looked down at the exact spot Bruce had touched. Then he looked back up. "What the?" Several students gasped. Some hadn't even seen Bruce move. Ali rubbed his chest, not hurt, but clearly surprised. "Did you just hit me?" Bruce shrugged casually. "You asked me to." Ali stared at him for a moment, then burst out laughing. "Man, that was fast." Bruce smiled politely but said nothing. Ali stepped back, shaking his head in disbelief. "I didn't even see your arm move." One of the students whispered, "That was the 1-inch punch." Ali raised his eyebrows. "The 1-inch? What?" Bruce demonstrated slowly this time, showing how power could explode from almost no distance. Ali watched carefully, fascinated. In boxing, power usually came from full swings, twisting hips, and long combinations. But what Bruce had just shown seemed almost impossible. Ali nodded slowly. "That's something else." Bruce stepped back respectfully. "Different arts, different ideas," he said. Ali crossed his arms, thinking. "You know," he said, smiling again, "if we ever fought for real, I'd still win." Bruce laughed softly. "Probably," he admitted. "You're the greatest boxer in the world." Ali grinned proudly. "But in a street fight," Bruce added playfully. Ali raised a finger. "Now wait a second." The room erupted with laughter. The moment broke the tension completely. Ali walked over and placed a friendly hand on Bruce's shoulder. "Man, you're something special," he said. Bruce bowed his head slightly. "And you're a legend." The two champions stood there for a moment, not as rivals, but as masters of different worlds. Ali ruled the boxing ring with speed, power, and unmatched courage. Bruce Lee was redefining martial arts with philosophy, precision, and explosive technique. Neither needed to prove anything. Yet for a brief moment in that quiet training hall, two icons of fighting history shared a playful challenge that left everyone amazed. Years later, those who witnessed the encounter would tell the story again and again. Some details would change with time. Some would grow into legend. But one thing remained the same in every version of the story. When Muhammad Ali said, "Hit me," Bruce Lee moved so fast that history itself seemed to pause for a second. And in that single moment, two of the greatest fighters the world had ever seen shared a laugh that proved something important. Greatness always recognizes greatness. Los Angeles.